Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Tourism November 2025 memo discussion, whereby we are going to be looking at the expected answers for this particular paper. So the time allocation is 3 hours. Then the mark allocation is 200 marks. Then the instructions and the information, it consists of 5 sections. Then all questions are compulsory. Then you are reminded to round off your answers to 2 decimal places. Then you should show all calculations. Then you are always reminded to carry a non-programmable calculator when you write the tourism exam. So then topics which are include the short questions, map work and tour planning, including foreign exchange, which amounts to 50 marks, short questions 40 marks. Then tourist attractions, culture, heritage, tourism and marketing, that's another 50 marks. Then tourism sectors, sustainable and responsible tourism, that's another 30 marks. Then tourism, domestic, regional and international tourism, communication and customer care accounts for 30 marks. So the grand total will be 200 marks. Let's dive straight into the short questions. So various options are provided as possible answers to the following questions. Choose the correct answer and write only the letter A to D next to the question numbers in your answer book. So the first question reads, a factor showing appreciation that should be included in a travel budget. So our key term there is appreciation. When you are planning your tour budget, you should put into consideration to pay gratuities or tips. So this is a factor which should be included in your budget. So our correct answer in this regard would be the letter C. That will be our most suitable response there. Moving straight ahead to the next question. South Africa has a new white paper for tourism. The department responsible for the development of the white paper on the development and promotion of tourism in South Africa. So it reads as follows. Publication of the white paper on the development and promotion of tourism in South Africa. I, Patricia de Lille, Minister of Tourism, hereby publish the approved white paper on the development and promotion of tourism business in South Africa for implementation. Then it is signed by the Minister, Ms. Patricia de Lille, MP, Minister of Tourism. So the department which is responsible for this is known as the Department of Tourism. The Department of Tourism is responsible for this particular white paper. Then going straight to the next question. 1.1.3, the 180-degree line of longitude. So our key term there which should guide our response is line of longitude. Lines of longitude, they cut across. It is also known as, the 180-degree line of longitude is known as the international date line. This is the basis on which international dates are calculated. So that is the international date line. So the correct answer there will be the letter D. Now moving to the next one. An international driver's permit is issued by in South Africa. So there is an image of an international driver's permit there, which allows you to, of course, drive in a foreign country. So it is the responsibility of the Automobile Association to issue this particular this particular document. So the Department of Health is basically involved in things like compulsory vaccinations or recommended vaccination. Department of Home Affairs is basically involved in issuing of travel documents such as the passport and visas. Then the Airports Company of South Africa, it manages the airports which are in South Africa. Then, so the correct answer there is the letter C. Then 1.1.5, the documents are needed before foreign currency can be bought on an overseas trip. So before you buy foreign currency for an overseas trip, you must produce evidence that you are going to travel abroad. So this should be in the form of a paid flight ticket and a valid passport. You must have a paid flight ticket and a valid passport in order for you to buy foreign currency for an overseas trip. So this is basically proof that you're traveling abroad. Then moving on to the next question. Africa, the Africa Travel Endeavor that promotes South Africa to domestic and international and regional markets is held in annually. So they need the venue of the Africa Travel Endeavor. So the Travel Endeavor is held in Durban. It is held in Durban. So our correct answer there will be the letter C. So why are we taking Durban? At times people confuse the Africa Travel Endeavor with the Getaway Show. So just bear in mind that the Getaway Show is the one which takes place in what? In Cape Town. Then the Endeavor takes place in Durban. Then moving on to 1.1.7. That's Desert City. Our key term there is Desert City, and it's located in the Middle East. Is one of the world's most richest and largest archaeological sites, also a key term there. So the city which we are looking for here, it will be the Petra. It will be the Petra, which is located in what? In Jordan. Jordan is located in the Middle East, so this is the appropriate answer here. The reason why we are not taking Parthenon, that is in Greece, which is in the Mediterranean, which is in Europe. Then windmills, that is in what? In the Netherlands. Then Agra, that is in India. So our best option there will be D, which is the Petra. Then 1.1.8, increased visitor numbers and time spent at an attraction will result in. So the more visitors we have, there's an increase in visitors numbers. Then also there is an increase in time. This is good for the income. So let's look for an answer which is related to the income. So this results in income exceeding the targeted figures. So the income realized by the company or by the tourism business actually exceeds or goes beyond the targeted figures. So our correct answer there would be the letter B. 1.1.9, the organization responsible for the declaration of World Heritage Sites. So our key term there is World Heritage Sites, world. It is on a world level. That is the sole responsibility of UNESCO, which is the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. That is the organization which is responsible for that. Why are we leaving out the other options? If you look at SARA, it does that at national level. It can only declare those in South Africa. Then PRASA, why are we rejecting PRASA? PRASA, that is the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa, which is responsible for trains or passenger trains and tourist trains in South Africa. AXA manages airports. So our best option there will be the letter A, which is UNESCO. Then we also have Meetings Africa is a travel show that attracts which type of what? Of tourists. So we are looking at the market segment which is targeted by Meetings Africa. So Meetings Africa, it targets MSE. So for the benefit of you guys who might not be familiar with this particular term, MSE simply stands for meetings. It stands for meetings, exhibitions, and special events, and special expos. Meetings, exhibitions, and special expos. So this event known as Meetings Africa, it tries to gain the following. It tries to attract the tourism who are mainly interested in attending meetings, exhibitions, and special expos. So that is known as MSC. The reason why we are rejecting the rest, VFR stands for visiting friends and relatives. We don't need that. Then SIT, that is special interest tourists. That's not relevant to us there. Then VAT, that is value-added tax, which is a completely different concept there. So the correct answer would be the letter A. Then 1.11. Receiving discounted flight tickets is a benefit for an employee. So this is considered to be a fringe benefits. These are the benefits which you get as a result of working for an airline company. This is recognized as a fringe benefit. Then the next one, which is blue flag certification, recognizes that meets high standards of management and sustainability in a marine environment. So it means that the fishes and marinas, they meet a very, very high standard of sustainability and good management in the marine environment. So we are going for B there. 1.1.13, the organization that encourages and certifies responsible and sustainable tourism practices. So this is the sole responsibility of Fair Trade Tourism, FTT, which is abbreviated as FTT. In full, this is Fair Trade Tourism. All right, so why are we choosing that? Yes, its core business is to certify responsible and sustainable practices in the tourism business industry, whereby the tourism businesses will be meeting the 3 pillars, or they will be meeting the expectations of the 3 pillars of sustainable and responsible tourism. Then why are we rejecting the rest? If you look at SAA, that is an airline company. Then if you look at this one, Tourism Grading Council of South Africa, this is something to do with the grading of accommodation establishments. Then the Tourism Business Council of South Africa is responsible for the administration of the TOMSA funds. So the most suitable option then will be FTT, which is A. Then WSSA subscribes to which pillar of sustainable tourism? Let's look at its slogan rather. People caring for the earth. So when they are talking about the earth, they are talking about the environmental pillar. So we are opting for C there, which is the environmental pillar, simply because its slogan explicitly states that it is concerned with people caring for the for the earth. Then 1.1.15, sustainable practices that reduce the environmental impact of tourism. So what we are going to choose here, we are going to choose the letter D. Why are we choosing the letter D? Resource management, it is a broad type of management which actually reduces the environmental impact of tourism. It includes the following: management of water resources. It involves management of water resources. It involves the management of energy resources, and also the management of natural resources in general. So the correct or most suitable option then will be the letter D. Then 1.1.16, the most accepted form of payment when renting a vehicle. So when you're renting a vehicle, they accept the credit card as the commonly accepted or the most suitable payment option, because people who are credit worthy can easily be trusted with the renting of a vehicle. So we are going with B there. Now let's go to 1.1.17. The QR code in the picture below is used to, quite a tricky question, but let's look at what it requires. We are on a mission to serve you better. Please complete the survey. Then they are looking at friendliness, efficiency, knowledge, tests, and value for money. Thank you very much. They do have a question: how can we improve? Then there's a logo, then there's your name and your email. So the QR code in the picture is used too. So the purpose of this QR code let's try to compare to the QR code. We have 2 options here. The first option is the retraining and upskilling of employees. Yes, the whole purpose of doing a survey is to assess whether people are happy with the service. So at times when you scan that QR code, they are able to obtain feedback. So for this one, I would go with the retraining and the upskilling of employees, simply because that is the whole purpose of doing a customer survey. Yes, others might argue to obtain personal details and particulars of a customer. Yes, but for what purpose really? The main purpose of the main drive behind this initiative will be what? To retrain and to upskill employees. In which areas? In the areas of friendliness, efficiency, knowledge, test, and value for what? For money. So I would go with C in that particular regard. Then 1.1.18, the World Athletics Championships to be held in Budapest in September 2026 is an example of a or an global event, yes, but a global sporting event. So we are going with A there. So A will be our most suitable response. Then the codes required for international financial transactions between the banks, the code which you need for financial transactions between the bank, they use unique SWIFT codes. They use unique SWIFT codes. So this letter B would be our correct response there. Moving straight ahead, the devastating earthquakes that hit Thailand in March 2025. These are earthquakes. Earthquakes are natural, are categorized as. So that is categorized as a natural disaster. So that is categorized as a natural disaster. So that is the first part of question 1. So you are encouraged to try to get everything right then. Apply your reasoning skills, eliminate the wrong answers, judgment. Then 1.2, give one word. So we are looking for one word or term for each of the following descriptions by choosing a word or term from the list below. Write only the word or term next to the question numbers 1.2.1 to 1.2.5 in the answer book. For example, 1.2.6, bank buying red. So we are looking at the official currency of Germany. If you're looking at the official currency of Germany, it is, we are going with the euro here. Why are we saying the euro? Germany is part of the European Union. So they have adopted the euro as their official currency. So we are going with the euro. So we have taken the euro there. Then the second question, the document that verifies that a traveler has received vaccination. So the key thing there is vaccinations. Vaccinations are associated with health precautions. So for 1.2.2, we are going with our health precautions. This is an example of a health precaution. These are health precautions. Then 1.2.3, the use of preventative medicines. Okay, wait, just a point of correction. We need to correct something there. We need to correct something. Let me just correct something. All right, for this one, for the second one, the document that verifies that a traveler has received the vaccinations required for entry in certain countries. So this one, we are going with the health certificates. This is a document. I had omitted the part document. So this is associated with the health certificate. This is a health certificate rather. Then instead, 1.2.3, the use of preventative medication, insect repellents, and sunblock to maintain personal and personal well-being whilst traveling. So this is a typical example of a health precaution. So when you apply sunblock and maintain your personal well-being while traveling, that is an example of a health precaution. Then an amount of money a traveler is permitted to exchange annually for foreign currency when traveling overseas. So this is basically a travel allowance. This is a travel allowance. That is an amount which is you are allowed to spend when you travel overseas. Then 1.2.5, regulations that control the movement of items like alcohol, tobacco, and currency into a country. So this is controlled by what we refer to as customs regulations. These are customs regulations. These are referred to as customs regulations. Then moving on to 1.3, Now, in terms of 1.3, they are saying choose the correct words or words from those given in brackets. Write only the words or words next to the question numbers. For example, 1.3.1 to 1.3.5 in the answer book. 1.3.6 passport. The duration of a flight between departure and arrival. So between departure and arrival, what we have then is referred to as flying time. Between departure and arrival, we have what we call flying time. Then the Mediterranean coastline, famous for its glamorous cities like Nice and the Cannes, is known as the French Riviera. That is the playground of the rich, which is also referred to as the French Riviera. The windmills is a popular attraction in which country? The windmills are a popular attraction in the Netherlands. They are a popular attraction in the what? In the Netherlands. Then the next question, 1.3.4. BSR or CSI refers to a company's initiatives aimed at contributing to social development beyond its core business. So this is known as corporate social investment. That is CSI, corporate social investment. Then the statistics that measure the number of inbound tourists or travelers who visit a country within a given period of time is known as foreign arrivals. So the term which we use there is foreign arrivals. So just a quick review, flying time, then we have the French Riviera, the Netherlands, CSI, foreign arrivals. Then 1.4, match the factors. So we are matching the factors here, contributing to the success of a tourist attraction in column A with the example in column B. Write only the letter A to F next to the question numbers 1.4.1 to 1.4.5 in the answer book. For example, 1.4.6G. So we are looking at 1.4.1, crime prevention at the attraction site. So the one which is most suitable for crime prevention there will be the letter F. Why are we choosing the letter F? Look at the letter F. This is basically, these are security cameras, or you can refer to them as closed circuit television. So they are responsible for monitoring people or for monitoring criminal behavior. So for 1.4.1, we are going with the letter F. That is CCTV to monitor surveillance of criminals or to make sure that the tourists are safe. Then 1.4.2, appearance and upkeep at an attraction. So in terms of appearance and upkeep at an attraction, we are going with the letter E. Why are we going with the letter E? If you look at this gentleman or this professional, he is actually grooming the plants at an attraction. So basically, this is meant to keep the attraction in a mint condition or in what you call it, in an upkeep market condition. So we are taking the letter E there. The letter E is the suitable response for 1.4.2. 1.4.3, marketing the attraction. So marketing the attraction can be done at this event, which is known as the WTM. It can be done at the WTM. Marketing of an event can be done at the WTM, World Travel Market. Then 1.4.4, universal access to the attractions. Universal, what shows universal attractions to the attraction? So I'm going to choose A there. Then for the specific reason, if you look at A, this is a prayer room meant for a certain cultural group or meant for a certain religious group. So this means that the attraction is actually accommodating the needs of people of different cultures, of different religions. So there's an element of diversity. So diversity is associated with universal access. Then 1.4.5, efficient and ethical behavior of staff working at an attraction. So we are going with the letter D. The reason why we are going with the letter D then, if you look at this image, we do have the staff member welcoming a client to or a customer to the attraction. And if you look at the way they are behaving, then they are wearing a smile. Then in terms of the dressing is formal. Then the hairstyle is formal. Everything about the characters appearing in the image is formal. So this is efficient and ethical behavior of staff which is working at an attraction. Then moving straight ahead to the next question. Study the infographic below and answer the questions that follow. So we are looking basically at the infographic which appears there. Match the aspects of tour planning as illustrated in the infographic below with the descriptions that follow. Write only the question numbers 1.5, 5.1 to 1.5.5 and the correct aspect in the answer book 1.5.6 attractions. So we are looking at the aspects of tour planning: souvenirs, money, map, luggage, transport, hotel, flight tickets, icons. So basically these are the aspects of tour planning. So using can assist with planning a logical route. So the moment you use a map, whether it's electronic or it's a conventional or traditional map, it can assist you in planning a logical route. Remember, a logical route is meant to save time, to save money, and also to make the most out of the tourist experience. Then moving on to the next one. Moving on to the next question. Moving on to the next question. A deposit may be required to secure a reservation at this facility. When you are booking a hotel or making a reservation at a hotel, you need to pay a certain fraction or a certain amount of money so that you can secure that reservation. So we are going with a hotel. Some of you might ask, Ore, why am I leaving out flight tickets? For flight tickets, they require the full amount. They do not require the deposit. They require the full amount when you are booking a flight. But with hotels, they accept a fraction or a percentage of the total amount to secure a reservation. Then 1.5.3. Airlines stipulate the weight and the size of personal belongings to be carried on board. So this refers basically to the what? To the luggage. Basically, this is related to the what? To the luggage. They specify the amount of luggage which can be carried. This refers to the luggage and to to the baggage. Then a must-see place to be visited at a destination. A must-see place there would be the icons. Then travelers must, to get services and products before, travelers must have money because trips are funded by money. Trips are very, very expensive. So travelers are supposed to produce money. They are supposed to show money before or during a trip. So basically, that is the total for section A, which you could have you can easily get 40 out of 40 there. Then map work and tour planning and foreign exchange. Then we are studying the world map, world time zone map below, and answer the questions that follow. So this is the time zone map which you use for your calculations when you're calculating these things. All right, now let's go to the information below and answer the questions that follow. So Tabo, a passionate soccer fan from Johannesburg, South Africa, will be traveling to Mexico City, Mexico, to watch his favorite team play in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. This will be his first long-haul international flight. He therefore needs to plan carefully and adjust to the new time on arrival in Mexico. You'll be able to enjoy the soccer games without being exhausted. His flight details are given below. So we have the departure city being Johannesburg. Departure is 22:00. Then the layover time is in London. That is a stopover in London. That's 7 hours. Then arrival in Mexico City is not given. Then the total duration of the flight is 18 hours, including the layover time in London. All right, so here we are. We need to highlight the key pieces of information here. The layover time is already included. So the total duration of the flight is 18 hours, including the layover time in what? In London. So determine the number of time zones Thabo will cross when flying from Johannesburg to Mexico City. So to determine the number of time zones, we need to go back to our time zone map. So we are talking about Thabo, who is leaving Johannesburg. This is the time zone for Johannesburg. Then let's identify the time zone for Mexico. The time zone for Mexico City is -6, which we find here. So what do? We count from this +2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we are getting 8 hours. So if you go back to our question, determine the number of time zones Thabo will cross when flying from Johannesburg to Mexico City. That will be 8 hours. 8 hours. So we encourage you to use the ribbon so that you avoid making mistakes. Others can calculate it mathematically, whereby they say +2 minus 6, but we encourage you to use the ribbon instead. It's actually easier to use the ribbon. So the next question reads, explain the term long-haul flight. So a long-haul flight is a flight which lasts more than 6 hours in a single leg. So it is a flight which lasts more than 6 hours. If you fly for more than 6 hours, it is considered to be a long-haul flight. Now the next question reads, calculate Thabo's arrival in Mexico City. Thabo's arrival in Mexico City. Let me highlight what the question requires here. They are looking for arrival time in Mexico City. So whenever you ask for arrival time, I'll just write it below them. When they ask you for arrival time, we need to use time is equals to departure plus flight duration. Our arrival time is basically departure plus flight duration. So what are we looking at there? So let's first determine the departure. We have been told that Thabo left Johannesburg at 22:00. So we write down our 22:00, which is 10 at night, 22:00. Then we have been told that the time difference between Mexico and Johannesburg is 8 hours. So Mexico is actually behind. So we are subtracting -8 hours time difference. Time difference between the two cities. Let's first subtract the 8 hours time difference. So if we say 22 minus 8, 22 minus 8 should give you 14.00. So the departure time for Thabo was actually 14:00 according to Mexican time. Then now we need to add the flight duration. If we go back to the scenario, we have been told that the flight duration is 18 hours plus 18 hours. So there are two ways of doing this sum. You can do it the mathematical way, which I can do here. If we add 14 plus 18, it will give you, if we add 14 onto 18, it will give you 32:00. Then what do we do with this 32:00? We subtract 24 hours from it. Then what will be our new time of arrival? our new time of arrival, if you say 32 minus 24, you would get 0. So it means Tavo arrived at 8 o'clock. So this is method number 1, whereby you do it using the mathematical calculation. However, the mathematical calculation might not be easy for others. So what do? We can actually do this calculation using our time zone map as well. So we are saying 22 minus 8 hours. So the departure was 1400 hours. So we say 14 plus 18 hours. So what do? We go back to our time zone map. We identify our 14 here. This is 14. Then with our 14, all right, we go to our time zone map. So this is basically 14. The departure was at 1400 hours. So let's calculate 14 plus 18 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So you can see that I arrived at what? At 8:00. So it is, it brings us to the same what? To the same answer. The arrival time was 8 o'clock in the morning. So that is 2.1.3. Now let's go to 2.1.4. The opening ceremony in Mexico was at 20:00 local time. So opening ceremony, now this one I'm going to take it to the whiteboard. Opening ceremony was 20:00. So I'm going to write this scenario. Opening ceremony was 20:00 Mexican time. Mexican time, which is plus what? Which is minus, minus 6. Now, what does the question require from us? So the question says, determine the time in Johannesburg when South Africans will be able to view the ceremony live on television. So in other words, they're asking, when it is 20:00 in Mexico, what time is it in Johannesburg? So already when we did our calculation, you have noticed that there's an 8-hour time difference between Johannesburg and Mexico, which means that the Mexicans are actually 8 hours behind in terms of what? In terms of time. So when it is 20:00 in Mexico City, it means that the South Africans will be 8 hours ahead. So what do? Let's go back to our blank page. We are saying that time in Johannesburg is equals to 20:00 plus 8 hours time difference. We are adding simply because Johannesburg is ahead of Mexico. That's why we are doing this. Plus 8 hours time difference, which will give us 28:00. Then what do we do with our 28:00? There are 24 hours in a day. 24:00. 28 minus 24 gives you 4 hours using the mathematical method. Remember what I said before? You can use the mathematical method, or you can use the what? The clock. So 20 plus 8 is equals to 28. 28 minus 24 hours is equals to 4 hours. So using the clock method, I'm going to take you back to the clock method. Go back to the clock method. We are saying the time is actually 8 o'clock, which is 20, in what? In Mexico. Then we add 8 hours simply because South Africa is ahead. We count like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it also takes you to what? 4 a.m. So just bear in mind that when you're doing these calculations, there are 2 methods. You can use the mathematical method, or you can use the what? The manual method, which involves the clock. So that so we are done with this particular calculation. And also bear in mind that each step of calculation gives you what? Marks. Now, the next question reads, name 2 important travel documents that Thabo would require to enter Mexico. When Thabo is entering Mexico, he needs a valid passport. Always remember to mention the word valid. Valid passport. Because at times when you don't mention valid, you won't be credited with an answer. Then also remember to mention valid visa. Valid passport, valid visa. Those 2 terms are important. You must mention them at all given times. Then moving on to the next question. Study the information below and answer the questions that follow. So Thabo arrived in Mexico City. We are told that Thabo arrived in Mexico City. Then in addition to that, name the condition that Thabo suffered from after crossing several time zones. That is a typical example of jet lag. He felt jet lagged. So that is a typical example of jet lag. So jet lag, so he was completely exhausted. Yes, fine. Then what are the 2 other symptoms associated with jet lag? So jet lag is associated with irritability. There's an element of irritability. Then there's also an issue of confusion. Then there's also an issue of insomnia. Then there's also an element of restlessness, which is associated. So you can list any of those 2. There are several symptoms of what? Of jet lag. And in other cases, it can also lead to what? To gastric issues or stomach aches and other things. So that is a typical example of what? Of the jet lag symptoms. Now, moving on to health and safety. Before his trip, Thabo visited a travel clinic to get advice on the recommended and compulsory vaccinations required to enter Mexico. Thabo was also researched on how to stay safe while enjoying the World Cup. He learned about the threats against tourists in Mexico City and other general safety risks during his visit. Explain one difference between recommended and compulsory vaccinations. So with this one, I'll start with recommended vaccinations are not compelled by law. They are not compelled by law. They are voluntary. They are voluntarily taken as a health precaution. As a health precaution. They are taken as a health precaution. While compulsory vaccinations are enforced by the law. Are compelled by the law. By the law. Compulsory vaccinations are compelled by the what? By the law. In addition to being compelled by the law, failure to take it might result in deportation, or it can result in what? In you being put in quarantine. All right, 2.2.3. Give one reason why Thabo should avoid drinking water in tap water in Mexico. All right, it's the water might be contaminated. Might be contaminated, resulting in waterborne diseases such as, so you must avoid that one because it results in water diseases, e.g. cholera. So this tourists should avoid taking or drinking water directly from the tap. Recommend one way in which Tabo can ensure his safety in the following circumstances. When using a taxi, verify the driver details, verify the driver and the taxi itself, and taxi. In addition to that, you must also keep belongings within reach. Must keep your belongings within reach. Then in addition to that, wear a safety belt. All right. Then also by learning Spanish, a few Spanish phrases. This is important so that this can help. Spanish phrases can help during emergencies. During time of emergencies, you must know how to shout for help in Spanish. So this can actually be a good thing during the time of emergencies. You must know a few Spanish phrases. Then in addition to that, it is also important because you use it to ask for directions. You use those Spanish phrases to ask for directions. If you are not so sure of where you're supposed to be going, you can use the Spanish phrases to ask for directions. So that is of importance. That is actually very, very important for him to master a few Spanish phrases. Now, moving on to the next question. All right, the next question would be red or green channel. After an exciting 2-week stay in Mexico for the 2026 World Cup, Tabo returned home to South Africa. He brought Mexican souvenirs, a leather jacket, and so let's underline this. Brought Mexican souvenirs. These are personal items. A leather jacket, also personal items. This is processed leather. Then dried and sealed Mexican spices, okay, to spice up the food, perhaps, which were all within the duty-free allowance. So our key term there is within the duty-free allowance. So identify the first port of entry back into South Africa where he had to present his passport. He had to present his passport to the immigration desk. He had to present his passport to the immigration desk. So explain the concept of duty-free. These are products which are exempted from customs and duty levies, provided they are in reasonable or in permissible. Let me use the word permissible quantities. As long as they are in permissible quantities, you do not pay duty for them. All right, so that is duty-free. 2.4.3 now. Identify the customs channel that Tabo had to proceed through at OR Tambo International Airport. Let's go back to the scenario. His items were within the duty-free allowance, which is a good thing. So obviously, he had to pass through the green channel. Because his items were within duty-free allowance range. They were within duty-free allowance range. All right, moving on to the next question. That is actually question 3 now. All right, question 3. Okay, moving on to question 3. For question 3, we do have a currency table, a foreign currency table there. Study the exchange rates below and answer the questions that follow. A tourist traveling to London decided to exchange South African rand for Great British pounds at Cape Town International Airport before departing South Africa. So we do have a foreign currency exchange rates table. Then the currency, the bank buying rates, BBR. Then the BSR, the bank selling rates. We do have the euro, which is being bought at 1876, sold at 1979. The Great British pound bought at 22.50, then sold for 23.50. We also have the US dollar being bought at 17.29, then sold for 18.15. Then now the first question, 3.1, give the currency code for the Great British pound. So if you look at the Great British pound, it is abbreviated as GBP, Great British pound. Then just for the sake of knowledge, also this is the symbol for the Great British pound. But what they are requiring there, they simply require the abbreviation or the currency code. Then explain the following terms. Fluctuation of exchange rates. So fluctuation of exchange rate, it refers to the movement. It refers to the movement in exchange rates. It refers to the movement in exchange rates meaning the variation of the price of one currency in relation to others. In relation to others. So basically, this is the variation of the price of one currency in relation to others, the movement of exchange rate on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, after every minute, after every second. So the variation between the price of one currency in relation to another. Then we also have bank buying rates. Now, when you're looking at the bank buying rates, the full bank BBR, bank buying rates, refers to the price at which the bank buys Forex. Buys Forex from a seller. So the bank basically is buying from the seller. So they use the bank buying rates. Now, 3.3, calculate how many Great British pounds a tourist would receive if he exchanged 20,000. So the key thing here, you need to determine what's happening here. We are moving from which currency to which currency. So this is basically from South African Rand, which is ZAR, to Forex. We need to determine the formula first. When you're moving from South African Rand to Forex, you are supposed to divide by BSR. you are supposed to divide by BSR. So we are moving from South African Rand, we have 20,000 to Forex. We divide by BSR. Let's take it to the whiteboard. So when you get to the whiteboard, we are saying that we have 20,000 rands. We are dividing those 20,000 rands. What are we changing to? We are changing to Great British Pound. So if you look at the Great British Pound, it's being sold at 23.50. So what do? We say divided by 23.50. So 20,000 divided by BSR, which is 23.50, would give you 851 pounds. 851 pounds and 6 pence. 851 pounds. So this is the correct answer for 3.3. Now let's determine what's happening on the other calculation. So this one, we are done with it. Calculate how many rands a tourist will receive when exchanging Great British Pounds from on arrival in South Africa. So let's look at what's happening here. So we are moving from what? From Forex. We are now doing the opposite. From Forex to ZA, multiply. From Forex to Z to South African Rand, you need to multiply by BBR. So what do we have? What are we given here? We have 200 British pounds multiplied by our BSR, which is 22.50. That is, by the BBR, which is 22.50, because the bank is the one which is now buying the pounds in exchange for South African Rand. So 200 times BBR, which is 22.50, would give us 4,000. It will give us 4,500 rands. So that's how you multiply this, or that is how you calculate this. So the first one we have 4.5. Then, the first one we have 851 pounds. Then the second one 4,500, which is 3.4. This is the answer for 3.4. Now moving on to 3.5, explain one reason why a tourist should consider exchange rates offered by different kiosks at the airport before exchanging money. So when you are exchanging money, don't just go to one kiosk and buy from there. You might find that another kiosk might be expensive, whilst there is a cheaper one, whereas there's a cheaper alternative for the same amount. All right, now what are you supposed to do? All right, you are supposed to compare in order for you to get the best value for your money. For your money, even that difference in cents, it counts to get the best value for your money, in order for you to get the best value for your money. Now, moving on to the next one, tourist attractions, culture, heritage, and tourism marketing. Study the information below and answer the questions that follow. Travel the world operator offers discounts on tour packages. 3 packages A, B, and C are shown on the banners below. So we have the first one, A, Japan. It's a flight to Japan. B, a flight to Israel. Then C, a flight to Nepal. So the question requires, name the mountains that tourists can visit when choosing A and C. A and C, this is Mount Fuji. For A, this is Mount Fuji. C, that is Mount Everest. Mount Everest. Then that is, so this is Fuji. Then this is Mount Everest. Now going to the questions 4.1.2, state one similarities in the mountains A and C. So both mountains are located in Asia. Are located in Asia, on the Asian continent. That is one similarity. Then states one type of tourist who would like to visit the icons in country B. Country B is known for the following icons. We do have the Dome of the Rock. Then we have the Wailing Wall. These are the attractions. So now let's determine what type of tourist is interested in this. This is a religious tourist. People go there as a pilgrimage site, or you can refer to them as cultural tourists. So these are basically religious tourists or cultural tourists. Cultural tourists. All right, so that is 4.1.3. Refer to the mountain in C. Now we are on the mountain in C, which is Mount Everest. Give two reasons why it is unique, why Everest is unique. So Everest is considered to be, it's not the highest mountain, but Mount Everest is considered as actually, it is considered as the highest peak on Earth above sea level. That is the highest peak on Earth above sea level. Then in addition to that, it is a rugged mountain which is it is hostile to life, which poses a challenge to climbers. So climbers are fascinated with this mountain because it is rugged. It is very, very rough in shape. It is hostile to life. It poses a challenge to climbers. It gives that grueling climbing or hiking experience. So that's how it is unique. Then discuss two ways except litter control in which sustainable management practices can be implemented on this mountain. All right, the first thing, restricting the number of visitor numbers. The number of visitors or climbers all right, educating them on responsible tourism. So visitors should be educated on responsible tourism, whereby they are not supposed to remove things from the mountain. They are not supposed to remove any objects from the mountain. Then they are supposed also to stick to the normal hiking trails. So restricting the number of visitors. Then also they are supposed to follow responsible tourism guidelines, which are given by the officials who manage the site. Then explain two reasons why it is important to have sustainable and responsible practices at the mountain. All right, so the first thing, it is important to preserve the heritage characteristics of the mountain. To preserve the heritage characteristics of the mountain, to ensure to ensure cleanliness of the site, to ensure cleanliness of the site, so that it can be clean, so that it can attract more tourists. Then also to ensure that it can be a successful attraction, to ensure that it can be a successful attraction which brings in more tourists, whereby the visitors exceed even the targeted amount of tourists. Now let's move on to 4.2. The Chichen Itza, the mouth of the well. Chichen Itza is one of the new 7 wonders of the world. It is also known as the El Castillo, the temple of the Kukulkan. Is the biggest building on the site. There's no evidence why people abandoned this city centuries ago. The name Chichen Itza means the mouth of the well. Itza, it is believed Itza means water, magicians. The Maya train takes visitors on the sightseeing tours to the local archaeological sites. On 28 January 2024, historic ruins of the Chichen Itza had a single day attendance record of 7,500 visitors. Name the country where the Chichen Itza is located. So the Chichen Itza is located in Mexico, in a state called Yucatan State, that is in Mexico. The continent, it is located in North America. It is located in North America. Then 4.2.2 suggests one reason why the name of the is closely associated with the Chichen Itza. All right, the Chichen Itza Maya refers to the civilization, to the people or civilization which built Chichen Itza. So the people who built the Chichen Itza were known as the Maya people. They were known as the Maya people, hence the name was given to the train as well. Chichen Itza is one of the new 7 wonders of the world. She's a good development. So the question says, explain why this status can be used to the advantage of the icon. So this status can be used to market the icon, and bring in more tourists and more income, resulting in the multiplier effect. So that is 4.2.2, 4.2.3. Now, looking at the other one, which is 4.2.4, discuss 2 ways in which the Maya train can add to the success of the Chichen Itza. So the Maya train can add to universal access. It becomes easy to access so it can add to the universal access of the site. It can also increase visitor numbers. The visitor numbers would increase, which means more income. More income generated. So these are the benefits of the train. It brings in more tourists because remember, a train carries more tourists. Then in addition to that, it facilitates universal access. It can even carry people who are disabled up to the peak of the where the site is located. So it ensures universal access, which increases the number of visitors, which translates to more income realized. So study the information below and answer the questions that follow. South Africa's 12 World Heritage Sites, Human Rights, Liberation and Reconciliation, the Nelson Mandela Legacy Sites. It always seems impossible until it's done. The site consists of 14 components located throughout the country, all related to South Africa's liberation struggle. These component sites include the Union Buildings, the Sharp View sites, and the Great Place at Mqhekezweni. These sites reflect key events linked to the long struggle against apartheid, the apartheid state. Now, the first question reads, name the type of World Heritage Site in the extract above. So this is a cultural heritage site. Why are we saying cultural? Cultural heritage sites. This is basically cultural heritage site because this is linked to the history of apartheid. So history is associated with cultural. So that is the cultural heritage site. List the four provinces which are associated with this World Heritage Sites. So we do have the following provinces. We do have Gauteng, that is Constitution Hill, that is Gauteng. Then in addition to Gauteng, we also have the Free State being involved there, Free State as well. In addition to the Free State, we also have the Eastern Cape is also part of the frame. The Eastern Cape, we are also putting it in the. And then in addition to the Eastern Cape, we also have KZN and KZN. These are the four sites. So let me go through them: Gauteng, Free State, and Eastern Cape, and finally KZN. Then discuss 2 reasons why UNESCO declared the Nelson Mandela sites as a World Heritage Site. Why were they developed as a World Heritage Sites? So they were declared as a World Heritage Sites simply because they bear all right. Discuss 2 reasons why the UNESCO declared the Nelson Mandela Legacy Sites as the World Heritage Sites. So they have they are associated with the birth, childhood, and adulthood of Nelson Mandela, who is regarded as a global icon. Who won a Nobel Peace Award. Then in addition to that, they are associated with the struggle against apartheid. All these sites are associated with the struggle against apartheid. No wonder why they are recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. Now let's move on to question 6. Question 6 reads, study the information below and answer the questions that follow. Tourism levy. South Africa is a private sector-led is a private sector and public sector supported levy contribution initiative. TOMSA was set up in 1999 to provide additional funding for the marketing of South Africa as a tourism destination of choice. The establishment of TOMSA by the country's private tourism sector was the first step in the successful marketing of South Africa. TOMSA levy South Africa adding value to tourism. So refer to the information in block B above. The information in block B above, yes. Explain how TOMSA gets funding for local and international marketing in South Africa. So a 1% levy, a 1% levy is added onto the tourists' bills. So it can be a hotel bill or car rental bill. So an additional 1% goes to TOMSA. So a 1% levy is added onto a tourist bill. It can be a hotel bill or it can be a car rental bill. That's how the funding is generated. Then the next question reads, explain why South Africa is regarded as a tourist destination of what? Of choice. So explain the meaning of tourist destination of choice. So the meaning of this is that it is a top preferred. This simply means it's a top preferred destination. Before you think of any other place, you start to think of perhaps going to South Africa. It's a top preferred destination. You can say a first choice destination. You can also say a first choice destination as well. So that is 6.2. 6.3, answer the question in 6.3.1. Complete the question 6.31 and question 6.32 below. Write the answers in the answer book. TOMSA. So name the administrator of funds. The administrator of funds is abbreviated as TBCSA, which refers to the Tourism Business Council of South Africa, which is the TBCSA. They name the body responsible for marketing of South Africa locally and internationally. It is known as SA Tourism. SAT, it is also known as SAT, that is South Africa Tourism. That is the body which is responsible for marketing of South Africa internationally and locally. So that is marketing and heritage. Now, moving straight ahead, tourism sector, sustainable and responsible tourism. To the next question, which is those topics. Now, we do have the cartoon which appears there. Study the cartoon below and answer the questions that follow. First impressions matter. Research shows that it takes only 5 seconds to form a first impression of an employee. Hey, I'm Jack. I'm the new duty manager. This is not how managers dress to impress. Adapted from, from this website. According to the business dress codes, the following items are inappropriate in the workplace. Flip-flops, sports shoes or casual shoes, T-shirts, backless tops, facial piercings, excessive jewelry, short skirts, and short dresses. Identify 2 stipulations of the business dress code that the employer in the picture is violated. So let's start with the first one. So here we do have excessive jewelry. If you look in the pictures, there is too much jewelry, more than enough. There is excessive jewelry here. Then in addition to that, we also have the issue of, if you look at excessive jewelry, then we also have, what else can we look at? We can look at is excessive jewelry, then casual shoes. Casual shoes. Then in addition to casual shoes, then what else can we say? We can also look at even the hair. Is untidy, unkept. So those are some of those things. Explain why what the manager means by dress to impress. To create a professional. The manager is referring to creation of a professional image, which impresses customers. So he's referring to the creation of a professional image which impresses customers. Then 7.1.3, discuss two ways in which it will be to the advantage of the business if all staff members adhere to the dress code. So it's actually a good thing for all staff members to adhere to dress code. So it enhances sticking. So we start by saying sticking to a professional dress code, enhances the professional image of the business. It enhances the professional image of the business. Why do we say that? It makes, it shows uniformity, which translates to teamwork, hence a professional outlook, hence trusts gained from customers. In addition to that, it also it also promotes equality amongst the staff members. It promotes equality. Then 7.1.4, suggest one way in which a manager can guide an employee who does not adhere to the dress code of the business. If you are a manager, then you recognize or you notice that your employee is not abiding with the dress code, you can implement the following things. So you need to have a private, private and respectful. You have a private and respectful conversation with the employee, about the importance of dress code. So you have a private conversation about the importance of dress code. After you do that, you also induct, that is training on professional dress code. Induction and training on professional dress code. Then in addition to that, clarify the dress code expectation. Perhaps the person does not know. Clarify, make it clear. Clarify the dress code expectations. Clarify the dress code expectations of the company. Make it clear what is expected of the company. Clarify the dress code expectations of the the company. Then in addition to that, you can also give the chance to the employee to respond. Perhaps they might not know, or they might be having challenges with the dress code. So that is what is required there. Now let's look at the image. This appears to be the interior of an airplane. Then we see part of the cabin crew. So extracts from the conditions of employment from cabin crew. Cabin crew must work flexible hours, including nights, weekends, and public holidays, as flight schedules often change. They receive a uniform and must always wear it correctly while following grooming standards. They receive a set salary with deductions for taxes, pension funds, and other contributions. They receive a net salary with deductions for taxes, pensions, and other. Okay. They are entitled to annual leave, but it must be planned according to the airline schedules. They must be able to speak English and communicate clearly with passengers. They must be in good health to handle long flights. Their employment may be terminated if they fail to meet the performance standards. Identify the core most important duty of the cabin crew member. So their main duty is to ensure passenger safety. So they make sure that the passengers are safe, during the flight. So they are trained to ensure that passengers are safe during the flight. In addition to that, they also provide customer service, provide meals and services, provide customer services, e.g. meals, beverages. Yes, so they provide customer services. They also ensure passenger safety during the flight. Give 2 reasons why airlines must have clear conditions of employment for cabin crew members. There must be clear conditions of employment in order to reduce misunderstanding. So we are saying that clear conditions of employment reduces misunderstandings. It reduces misunderstandings or disputes in the workplace. In the workplace, resulting in more productivity. It results in productivity. So that is the first part. Then the second part is that it also promotes fairness, a code of conduct promotes fairness in the workplace. It promotes fairness in the workplace. And it improves employee performance. It promotes fairness and it improves the performance of the employee. So those are the good things which are associated with having a code of conduct in the workplace. Now, question 8, study the information below and answer the questions that follow. So we are looking at responsible tourism practices. We do have people who are sorting litter here. Then we have a tourist who is sticking to the designated paths. So when tourists go on a hiking tour, it is important for them to act responsibly. One example of responsible tourist behavior is by disposing litter in the bins provided instead of leaving it on the trail. Small actions like properly disposing of waste can make a difference. It is adapted from copilot.com AI, Responsible Tourism, accessed on 7 March 2025. Explain the meaning of responsible tourists, of being a responsible tourist in the environment. So when we are talking about responsible tourists, responsible tourists Tourists minimize their impacts on the natural, social environment. They minimize their negative impact on the natural and the social environment. Why? They do not responsible tourists are mindful about their behavior and they do not remove or disturb wildlife. They follow rules and regulations. They follow rules and regulations. So that is the first thing. Then let's go to 8.1.2. 2 advantages of disposing of litter in bins provided. So the advantage is that it's actually 2 advantages of reducing. 2 advantages of reducing. It prevents pollution. Disposing litter in dustbins reduces pollution on land and water. It actually reduces the pollution on land and water. It saves lives of wildlife. Some wild animals would end up eating plastic or other things which are harmful. It actually saves wildlife. It saves wildlife. Then it is also important to do that simply because it actually keeps the environment clean. Keeps the environment safe and clean. Safe and clean. So that is what it does for the environment. Then moving on to the next one. Suggests 2 alternatives, which is 8.1.3. 8.1.3 suggests 2 alternatives, something else to carry water while hiking instead of single plastic water bottles. So you can actually use other things. You can use recyclable bottles which can be reused or refilled. In addition to that, use of biodegradable bottles. So use of biodegradable bottles can be another option. Now study the information below and answer the questions that follow. Good environmental practices, control of alien invasive plants. The removal of alien and invasive plants in nature reserves is an important step in promoting environmental sustainability. This practice benefits the local environment and aligns with sustainable tourism efforts. Friends of Kloofendal Nature Reserve Community Project, Friends of Kloofendal, alien invasive plant control of alien vegetation within Kloofendal Nature Reserve is an ongoing project which requires constant efforts. www.kloofendalfriends.org .za projects / projects. 8.2.1 State 1, negative impact on nature if alien plants are left to grow wild and uncontrolled. So this results in so many problems. The negative impact of uncontrolled invasive species. So they actually invasive alien species disrupt the ecosystem. They disrupt the ecosystem. That is the first point. Then, in addition to that, alien species use excessive water. They need so much water, so they waste water. In addition to that, they threaten native system. Threaten native species. They threaten native species for extinction. So they reduce biodiversity. They also result in a reduction of their biodiversity. Then discuss one benefit for the Klufendau Nature Reserve when members or supporters of the community project remove invasive plants. So this actually is a good thing. Removal of invasive species results in more biodiversity, better ecosystems, more biodiversity, better ecosystems. It also results in the saving of water, and protection of natural or native plants species. Then, in addition to that, removal of invasive species reduces the risk of fires, of veld fires or forest fires. It reduces the risk of fires. Then moving on to the next question, which is section E, domestic, regional, and international tourism, communication, and customer care. So read the extract below and answer the questions that follow. Flights impacted by chaos at London Heathrow International Airport, United Kingdom. Heathrow is one of the world's busiest aviation hubs, serving as a crucial gateway for international travel across Europe, North America, Asia, and beyond. Travel chaos was sparked after a massive fire at an electrical substation near Heathrow Airport on the 21st of March 2025. The incident forced Heathrow to shut down operations between 18 and 28 hours, causing continued airline disruptions for long after the event. Over 1,500 flights were delayed, cancelled, or diverted to other UK and other European airports, affecting around 300,000 passengers. Although airlines began to operate again the next day, there were disruptions for long after the event. Name the continent where this global event happened. So the continent we are talking about, Europe, UK, is in Europe. So this occurred in Europe. In Europe, Then identify 2 disruptions to airline operations caused by the fire outbreak. So if you go back to the extract, you can say that it forced the airport to shut down. The fire forced the airport to shut down for several hours. Then in addition to that, flights were diverted, delayed, and disrupted. Flights were diverted, delayed, and also disrupted. Then in addition to that, we can also say that so flights were disturbed. It's either they were disturbed or they were disrupted. Then you can also talk about shutting down of operations. We have mentioned that flight delayed or flight cancellations. Some flights were cancelled. Now, let's move on to the next part of the question. Next part of the question reads, discuss any 2 economic impacts. So our key term there is economic impacts that this event had on the global tourism industry. So 9.1.3, the events resulted in loss of income owing to cancelled flights or delayed flights. So the town and the airport, they actually lost income simply because of cancelled or delayed flights. So this slowed down economic activities around Heathrow, resulting in a negative multiplier effect. So this results in a negative multiplier effect. Furthermore, chain supply systems were disrupted, resulting in financial losses. What are we saying here? Airplanes do not only carry human beings, they also carry cargo. So delays in flights and also cancellation of flights simply means that some supplies of goods did not reach their intended market. So when goods do not reach their intended market, it causes disruptions in the supply chain management style. For example, you have ordered a product perhaps from America, then suddenly the flights are cancelled or they are delayed. It simply means that you cannot get your product on time. So thus, that is what we refer to as disruption of supply management channels or systems. So that those are the economic impacts of this event. Now we are looking at international tourist arrivals in South Africa 2024. Top international source markets to South Africa in 2024. We do have the UK standing at 362. Then we also have the UK 349,883. Germany 254,992. Then we have the Netherlands 132,422. Then China is standing at 41,651. Then India, 75,541. Then Japan, 17,370. Zimbabwe, 2,183. 2 million, sorry, 2,183,260. Then Ghana, 36,656. So there's a 23% increase in geographical spread, which is a good thing. Tourist arrivals, all in all, that is 8,919,370. The Americas contributed 505,579. Europe contributed 1,258,706. Africa air markets 299,638. Then Asia and Australasia and Middle East 372,356. Then we also have an unspecified market which contributed to 12,065. So 9.2.1 in the table identified the top source market. The top source market. So the top source market in the table, from the table. So it refers to the table. So the top source market, where most of the tourists are coming from. If you look at these numbers, you find that the top source market there would be Zimbabwe. That is the top source market for most tourists. They actually originate from there. This is the top source market, standing at 2,183,260. So the correct answer there is Zimbabwe. Then the next question, with the third highest number of tourist arrivals in South Africa. So we have already said that this is number one. So we are looking for the second and the third. All right, it's 2 million. Then when we compare this, 2 million is closely followed by the United States of America, which is 332,362. This will be number two. Then the third one would be the UK. The UK. The UK is standing at 349,883. So the next one would be the United Kingdom. All right, then 9.2.2, explain one advantage the 23% in geographical spread would have for the tourism industry in South Africa. So when there is 23% increase in geographical spread, it is actually a good thing. Why do we say that? It actually reduces an increase, a 23% increase in geographical spread of tourism results in reduces overcrowding in attractions. It actually reduces overcrowding in what? In attractions. Attractions become less overcrowded, which is actually a good thing. Then in addition to that, it increases or promotes balanced development of tourist destinations. It promotes balanced development of tourist destinations, which is a good thing. Then in addition to that, it benefits more communities, increased geographical spread benefits more communities. It benefits more diverse communities. For example, instead of people going to the traditional markets such as Cape Town only, or such as Durban only for their holidays, they can also go to places such as the Northern Cape. They can go to Mpumalanga. They can go to Limpopo. They can also go to the Free State. So as that will be taking place, it simply means that now there is more community benefits. Instead of benefits being centralized in the traditional market destination, there is more benefits for all communities across South Africa. So there is benefits for more communities. Then the next question suggests 2 reasons why African land markets contribute the largest percentage of tourist arrivals in South Africa. Land markets contribute the largest percentage simply because, so I'm going to add this one, 9.2.3. Land markets, that is from the neighboring countries, contribute the largest percentage of tourist arrivals because of their proximity, because of their closeness, geographical proximity to South Africa. It's easier to travel to South Africa from SADC. So the first thing is geographical proximity. It's easier. Then in addition to that, you can also say that there are lower travel costs. There are lower travel costs of coming to South Africa from the SADC region. From SADC. Then another factor which you can include as well is relaxed visa requirements. So the requirements, you can get your visa upon arrival. They are relaxed visa requirements. So it becomes easier for the members of the SADC countries to come to South Africa. Then in addition to that, there are trade ties. Then some come for cross-border business. Border businesses. Some would be coming for cross-border business. Now, we are now going to the next question, which is question 10. So if you look at question 10, all right. So question 10, we do have 4 characters who are in the cartoon. The first one is saying, please don't leave. Then the other one is saying, why is she leaving? I don't know, she's not the first. Maybe we should ask here. An unhappy customer's honest feedback is a gift. All you have to do is to ask for it. Then the question reads, explain one reason why the customer feedback can be considered as a gift to business. So customer feedback is important. It's a gift to business simply because customer feedback can be considered as a gift because it helps identify problems early. Identify problems early before it's too late. And address them on time. So feedback, it enables you to identify the problems early and you solve them on time. Then it guides, helps to guide decision. It helps to guide decision making. Then it builds stronger customer relationships. It builds stronger customer relationships. So that is what happens there. It helps guide decision making, build stronger customer relationships. Then 10.1.2 suggests one way in which the business can change a happy customer to become a satisfied customer. So there are different ways. I will list quite a number of ways. So how can you change an happy customer to become a happy one? So here are the steps. 10.1.2. So the first thing, listen. Listen to the customer. And also show respect. Listen and show respect to the customer. Listen and show respect to the customer. Remain calm and polite. Remain calm and polite. Then another thing, you're supposed to show empathy. Empathize with the client. Put yourself in the client's shoes. Then, in addition to that, apologize sincerely. Apologize sincerely. Identify root problems. Offer a solution. So the first thing, listen to the customer and with respect, remain calm and polite. Even though the customer might shout, you must always remain calm and be polite. Then you show understanding and empathy. Put yourself in the customer's shoes. Apologize sincerely. Identify the root problem or a solution. Those are the steps which you can take. Now, moving on to the next question. The management of customer feedback, real-time feedback, handwritten feedback. The shower room in 1512 does not have hot water and no one made up our room again. That is real-time feedback. State two methods other than real-time feedback and handwritten service a business can use to collect customer feedback. So they can make use of chatbots. Then analytics, which analyze behavior. Then we also have telephone interviews. We also have telephone interviews, SMSs, etc. So those are the different methods of obtaining feedback. So real-time feedback is when suggestions or criticism is shared during and after the service is provided. So explain one way in which this will benefit the business more than handwritten surveys. So one thing, it allows, real-time feedback allows quick problem solving. It allows quick problem solving. So it prevents small issues from becoming complaints. It helps build better customer